Balenciaga is still in the news. Thank goodness, quite honestly. Thank goodness. The View could not bring themselves to say that what happened in those ads with the S&M teddy bears and the little children was a bad thing. In fact, I guess the conservative one, Alyssa Griffin, who I've never even heard of. Anyway, she said, I found this ad campaign particularly distasteful in this moment. Wait. So it would be okay if it's not in this moment? Another moment, it would be fine. There's this growing anti-LGBTQ sentiment right now, and how it's being framed as portraying, trans people as groomers. I don't think people are putting trans people as groomers. I think it's anyone who is pushing pedophilia. Don't you think that's what it is? Anybody who's trying to sexualize our children, those are groomers. I think there are people that, are claiming to be totally straight that are sexually attracted to children. I don't think that that's straight because I think straight, gay people and everything, I think there's a vast majority that think, sex with kids, not a good idea.
Really?
I don't care what walk of life.
Wow, that's a brave stance.
I know
I mean, Mr. Hot Take over here.
I know. So this is sick. So anyway, a lot of trans people are being framed as groomers. This is a term you'll hear on the far right. They're groomers.
So I want to say the Balenciaga campaign is disturbing because it supports what the far right says. That's why it's disturbing?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they played right into their hands by having kids in a sexualized manner carrying something that represents, sex acts. So it's distasteful at this moment because it's being portrayed by the right as something sick. Can we just all agree that sexualizing our children is bad? Can we agree? Apparently not. The New York Times weighed in, lumping the ad campaign with Fox News and QAnon. So the only people are, and you know what? If that's true, then, color me there. If those are the only people standing up and saying, I think the sexualization of children, then I guess that's who my peeps are.
Shockingly, that's not the only group.
No, it's not. No, it's not. This is brought on by Marxism. Marxism is evil. It is evil. How do I know? I don't know. Let's look at the fruit of the tree. 120 million dead in 100 years? I don't know. Seems pretty evil to me. A poet once said, if you will not have God, and he's a jealous God, you should pay your respects to Hitler or Stalin. The intellectuals and the activists that dominate our culture today are doing this. They're sworn to accomplish it in a fashionable new way, with the destruction of God and the family. This is the left's biggest mission. I'm not talking about your neighbor. I wish your neighbor would wake up and start standing with people when they see our children are under attack. They hate capitalism, and for some reason, they see the family as capitalistic. No, that's actually not true. What is true is that they hate family, and capitalism comes after that. But to sell it to people, you got to start with capitalism. But this is an evil, evil idea. And so they know in the end they have to destroy the family. Klaus Schwab encourages redefining family identity. Quote, increasingly, the traditional family unit is being replaced by the transnational family network. What the hell is that, Klaus? Why is this guy in everybody's cabinet? It's no coincidence that the left has become Marxist. At the same time, it's worshiping men in dresses, encouraging children to climb onto stripper poles. Marxism and pedophilia are a match made in hell. Wherever Marxism appears, it will sprout pedophiles. But pedophiles exist even in capitalist. Pedophiles can be anything. But you have to understand that Marxism is evil. For starters, Marx didn't consider the long-term effects of destroying the family. He just wanted to destroy the family. Anytime it has been tried in the Soviet Union, it resulted in a massive spike of orphans, which leads to massive spikes in pedophilia. Look at our border policy. What's happening to all those kids? You're starting to see reports, I know, only from the right, because the left can't admit it. Pedophilia is going through the roof because it supplies orphans. In the wake of World War II, orphans became easy prey. And there was a German psychologist who turned post-World War II Germany into his experiment in pedophilia. His goal was to spread Marxist values to fight fascism. Did you know that Stalin in the mid-1930s had an affair with a 13-year-old girl? Stalin did. 13 years old. Sources called her his child bride, even though after she got pregnant, he dumped her. Marxism has a long lineage of this. Why? Not because it's Marxism, because it was birthed in evil. In the Communist Manifesto, on what foundation is the present family? The bourgeoisie family. What's it based on? On capital, on private gain. In its completely developed form, this family exists only among the bourgeoisie. Best of all, abolishing the family would be relatively easy once the bourgeois property was abolished. The bourgeois family will vanish as a matter of course when the complement vanishes. Both will vanish with the vanishing of capital. He said the bourgeois claptrap about family and education, about the hallowed correlation of parents and child, become all the more disgusting the more by the action of modern industry. All the family ties among the proletarians are torn asunder, and their children transformed into simple articles of commerce and instruments of labor. Now, when you think of Karl Marx and Marxism, think of a specific image, and that image is an animal devouring its offspring. And that is exactly what's happening. And it's happening more often because the left has run out of enemies. They're cannibals, and they have to eat something. They always end eating themselves. Marx envisioned a complete purge, I'm quoting, of society, so that communists could have their revolutionary dictatorship. He advocated for an overthrow of the entire legal system. Gee, let's reimagine it. The proletariat cannot conquer power within the legal framework established by the bourgeoisie. He always was clear that this revolution had to be violent, the forcible overthrow of all existing social conditions. These are his words. He wanted to change everything. He wanted to reverse all traditions, all values, all beliefs that weren't his. What was that Michelle Obama quote? I think she stated it very, very well.
And Barack knows that we are going to have to make sacrifices. We are going to have to change our conversation. We're going to have to change our traditions, our history. We're going to have to move into a different place.
He wanted to get rid of everything that was sacred, even if it had been sacred since before recorded history, even if it was an invaluable part of being human. Truth. He hated religion. He spited God. He said that labor and not God created man. Christ preached love, so Marx incited violence and encouraged death. He got kicked out of Belgium for buying guns for terrorists. Society valued marriage, so he degraded the family unit. He replaced faith with doubt, compassion with prejudice, truth with feeling, art with propaganda, and work with laziness. The left has internalized all of his attitudes about life. Without God, without family, without marriage, without faith, without art, without truth, without compassion, all you are left with is an urge to destroy. And when nothing is sacred, human life is expendable. Marx believed that the individual human life was much less important than the well-being of the community. He believed that people should sacrifice themselves for the sake of the community or for future generations. If you just scroll through Twitter, you will see the left has perfected this attitude. They've improved on it. They've industrialized it. Their utopia resembles a brave new world where monogamy is taboo, sex is fused with violence and degradation, orgies are routine, children are sexualized, many times forcefully, the family structure destroyed. Any mention of family, mother, father, is described as smut. Yet anything degrading is encouraged, especially among young children. Even the origin of life holds no beauty. There is literally something called the embryo store, where meaningless babies are cultivated by the dozen like grapes on a vine. Have you seen the little lamb that is grown in a plastic bag? We're not far from this, gang. Here's the advantage we have. We are very resilient because of our faith. We are very resilient because of our history and our traditions. If we start getting rid of those, we become vulnerable. There is truth. Now, you can call yourself whatever you want to call yourself, and I'm fine, whatever. But do not force me to go down the road with your truth, because there is universal truth, and there are hardwired biological difference between family and non-family. That's why our teachers, they might like our kids, they might say they love our kids, but they will never fight for our kids like a traditional mother will. I don't even know. I mean, parents guard their children from vipers. And as long as there is at least one family and one believer left alive, then God and family are full of life, stronger and brighter than anything or anyone who claims victory over their supposed demise. Just remember what is true.